and then another video of them. I haven't seen this one yet, but I kind of also, I guess, have a middle ground of this.
Welcome back to The Watch, and Oz and myself, we here at The Watch, we're Australians.
Yep.
And Australians have a really wonderful, long-standing tradition of not giving a crap about tipping.
Yep.
Yep. And that should be the honest, true standard. A product is given at a price, you pay for the price, the person selling it should be grateful that you purchased for your, customership, and transaction ended.
Yep.
Seems fair, seems good, seems positive.
Yep. The customer shouldn't have to pick up, the below minimum wage that you paid them, the employees.
Not only that, like the employee should not need to expect tips as standard exchange for their labor.
Yeah, expectation.
The contract that they get into, they need to understand that the payment, and this, like the person offering the contract, should not say tips are going to cover, the costs for your labor here. No. The money that they are presenting, your wage, is what they are willing to offer for your job. And if you enter into the job, you are accepting that as a fair wage for your labor. And if you don't think it's fair, don't take the job.
That's actually my stance on it. It sounds like I've always said that they'll like, if you have a job and it's not paying you enough and you need the tips to actually like survive, then you should probably find another job because that pays better. Because why would you take a job that isn't so like, I want to say sustainable. I don't know if that's the correct word for your lifestyle or to get by or whatever. It's not, and it's like tipping is the thing, bit because apparently there's this law with like restaurants and whatnot that they have this very small minimum wage that I think is like, I don't know, around like probably like $3 an hour. So it's like they need those tips, and like I don't even know why that's a law. I think just because like, I guess the food/service industry isn't that profitable. So I guess having like cheap labor is like the offset of that. But like other than things of like where you go to like a convention or like, fast food and what whatnot. It sounds like I found it crazy though the first time I went to a convention, and it's like I bought like a shirt, and it's like I think that shirt was like probably like $30, and then they like flipped the screen around, and so I was like asked for a tip. It's like you didn't do anything. It's like you're just getting free money because they're like, people have tipping so ingrained in their brain with like restaurants and whatnot. They'll like, they see the tip option, and it's just a nice gesture to do, because of how restaurants are and how people are like underpaid, that like the servers need the tips in order to survive. It's like people think of that when they see tip. And it's like for me, I think I don't have that mindset because I almost never went to restaurants like growing up, or like as an adult. I don't go to restaurants. I just don't have an interest. So, and it's like it's getting worse. Literally everything everywhere is getting so bad. It's like everyone's asking for a tip. Like I'm hearing stories of people going to like Starbucks or something, and it's like they want a bagel with like butter on it. And so I was like, uh, they ask they was it, it's like they grab the bagel from the thing, they cut it, they do the they spread the butter, and then it's all set, and then you go to pay, and then they flip the screen and ask for a tip. It's like they didn't do anything. It's like they just offered the storefront. You walk in and like do everything and thing yourself, and it's like there's no service there that should be tipped. You just have a storefront with the bagel in the store. Is like at the same time you could go to the grocery store, buy a bagel, go home and like do the same thing yourself. It's the exact same thing.
Flat. In terms of the minimum wage argument, I've just seen too many cases of minimum wage being raised and people losing jobs completely.
That's what happens.
That's what happens.
It's the Big Mac index. Tim Pool explained it really well. You raise the price of how much you raise minimum wage, then the person who works to make the Big Mac becomes more expensive. The person who works at the real estate agent who wants to buy the Big Mac, it's more expensive. He doesn't buy it, and just things go up and up and up and up all the way up to the top.
Inflation, and I'm not saying this is not a problem. Cost of living is
ridiculous, evil.
Yeah, and it's getting worse and worse and worse.
I know entire families, both members working 2 jobs, who have moved in with their parents because there's simply nothing that they can do. Like it's we need a civil war. We need a revolution. We need something. No, Shad, seriously, what other situation is there? Just vote harder?
Yeah, ideally, yes.
But they won't let us.
Get someone in power that can actually understand.
But how do we do that when our elections are fortified?
Our ones aren't, but
if they're fortified in America.
Actually, Australian elections are pretty secure. But one of the reasons is that a lot of it is in-person paper ballots.
Okay. We'll have to disagree.
Okay. And this could be an area that I'm just very ignorant on. But cost of living we can agree on is going insane.
Yep.
And so I understand the other flip side of this, of wage increase. The thing is, though, more people are employees over employers, and they don't understand the employer perspective. I understand it because I am an employer, right? And with the economy being so bad, and with YouTube just absolutely nuking search and discoverability for our Shadiversity content to new viewers, right? Got videos on this, we've discussed about it. It's not just happening to me, it's happening to many creators. Baggage Clay mentioned it, there's several videos I've found, independent websites, they changed something in January. So that has made revenue crater through the floor. And I know that there are people that need more money for cost of living, but at the same time, as an employer, I literally can't afford it. And the only option ends up being that someone might have to get let go if I can't figure out a way to correct it, that's the case for a lot of companies. They cannot increase wages, and if you force them to, their only option is to fire people and have less employees. Yeah. And so these employees that wanted more security ends up having no security, no job, no money at all. Where are people supposed to, and so clearly forcing minimum wage isn't the answer either. All right, we are in some really, really tough times. Okay, but regardless of what we're saying, okay, people do enter into jobs through agreement, right? And if you agree to getting paid for a certain job, you should not expect the customer that is already agreeing to pay a certain amount for a product or service to then pay more, okay, and then be upset if they don't give you a tip after the fact. And I also think it's scummy if a company employer is actually paying people less than they could afford or is fair to give them, based on the fact that they can get tips and get more money.
Yeah, I want to know where the problem for this begins. Is there a beginning to it?
I don't know. It's a cultural thing because, like here, we're Australians can be particularly backwards, right? Especially with how our government behaves. But at other times, we can be particularly enlightened group of people. And this is one of the times when we are the enlightened group, where tipping, don't give a stuff about. Tipping is not a thing here.
I mean, it's personal, but like if someone goes beyond their job,
Even us Australians, on the rare occasion when there is a truly exceptional job given, I have given people bonuses, even so tips as well, for an actually exceptional job.
there was one time I stayed up and documented that I was up for, I think, 3 days straight editing the same video for you. It was the Star Wars Darth Vader vs Luke Skywalker. I had my timestamps. I got 4 hours of sleep in that full 3 days. I also had meth pills. You wouldn't guess, but yeah, you gave me $1,100 for that.
Yeah, you went above and beyond, and that was more than what we initially agreed to.
Yes, I lost several brain cells,
Yeah.
never to be redeemed.
So even us Australians, of course, when we see a good job, we will reward it. But in the normal exchange of goods
And it's like that's how it should be, like in general. And it's like there's so many people that have that expectation now because it's ingrained in the culture, at least in the US, that's what upsets people. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do this job and I'm gonna get like an extra, like, $5 that I can keep to myself and whatnot. And it's like no, it's like, I say like DoorDash. It's like DoorDash is a service where you buy the food and then you're paying for the service to have it brought to you. So for the product, you're already paying more to have it brought to you, and then the driver wants a tip on top of that. Is like so it's like you're making 3 separate payments instead of just like the 2 or the 1. It's like you could go out to a store or a fast food place and just pay that initial price, but for convenience, you're paying for the service to have it brought to you, and then it's like the driver, like, I don't know. Like, maybe if the driver, like, actually wants to hang out for a minute and talk to you and provides a good conversation, then maybe that conversation you may have enjoyed. So like, then maybe he earned a tip or they earned the tip that way. But other than that it's like that them just bring the food to you, dropping it at your door, handing it to you. It's like, well, why would you tip for that? That makes no sense.
goods and services, you agree to the price, you pay the price, and there should be no either entitlement to think more, expectation, or guilt thrown at someone for not giving more after the fact.
Yeah.
But tell you what, when I go to the US, right, I forget tipping, and people get like the people I forget to tip, they have been legitimately pissed at me, and I was like, why was he upset? And I was like, you forgot to tip him. I was like, oh, I'm Australian, we don't do that. But there's a culture of tipping in the US.
Yeah.
An idea has been seeded out into the ether, Oz, and it's in regards to games. That if you play a game, a single-player game that you've purchased, already paid money for, right? That there should be an inbuilt option to be able to tip the developer.
Why?
Because they want money, and this is a way for them to
I kind of forgot this was a game video.
potentially get more money.
I know they want money, but why should I have to pay them more after I've already spent $70 on it?
That's a
more?
great question, but they're trying to pose that. That's not really the question, Oz. It's about giving people who are particularly happy with the product an option to give them a little bonus.
I did that when I had The Witcher 3 pirated for like 3 years straight. And then I, after playing it for hundreds of hours, deliberately went and bought it when it was on sale for like $27, just to give them the money, because they bloody earned it, man. Those Polish.
I think DLC is another example of people willing to throw a couple of extra bucks at a game because they like it, to show a bit of extra support. And here is where my kind of philosophy has a bit of an issue. Like, it's like, all right, these game companies, right, would want to do something like this. I would be perfectly perfectly okay if at the same time they
Yeah, I'm actually gonna stop the DLC thing. It's like for the longest time, I've always been against the DLC bit because it sounds like why would I pay more for you know uh a game that I put down like months ago. Um, with like DLC, the only time I bought DLC is like when it's a game that like I enjoy and I keep on coming back to it. Well, it's like I don't remember the first DLC that I bought beyond the Witcher 3 DLC because the Witcher 3 expansions packs were so great. Well, the Witcher 3 was so great. It's like the expansion packs I actually wanted to play more of the Witcher. And it's like those expansion packs, I think they launched at like $15. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. And another DLC I bought was for the original Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. I bought all those DLCs just because I like Spider-Man. And so I was like, I enjoyed going back to that game. But other than that, it's like I was like, unless I enjoy the game and I want to keep on kind of coming back to it, it's like I'm not gonna buy it. Like I buy so many games that like I never buy the DLC for. Um, I remember like I think like the Batman games, Arkham Asylum, City, and Night. I never bought any DLCs for those. Um, it's just like other than things. It's like Monster Hunter. I've of course you have that big expansion that like basically changes the game. But beyond that, they have other little like DLCs and whatnot that you can buy. But it's like I don't see the point of those. Um, I think Skyrim had a couple of DLCs. Originally, I never bought those. It's just I only played them once they came out with the Game of the Year edition. I think it was, or the remastered version that ended up coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. That's the only reason I played those DLCs, but like originally I never bought the DLCs like separately, individually. It's like that. It's like that. Things like that. It's like only buy the DLC if you actually enjoy it.
gave an option to refund at least half the price of the game if I did not like it.
Well, I feel like a lot of people would take that.
I would take it. It's like, put your money where your mouth is. Like, let's
Oh, yeah.
really test how. And like, you could half the price of the game if I did not like it.
Well, I feel like
A kind of philosophy has a bit of a issue. Like, it's like, all right, these game companies, right, would want to do something like this. I would be perfectly okay if at the same time they gave an option to refund at least half the price of the game if I did not like it.
well, I feel like a lot of people would take that.
Yes.
I would take it. It's like, put your money where your mouth is. Like, let's really test how. And like, you could integrate into Steam that you can only have this option if you've played, I don't know, 20 hours of the game, 100 hours of the game. That's hard to say because people just turn it on and not play it. But maybe if I don't know if it's good.
It's like I feel you should be able to like refund the game depending on its price of like how much it cost at the time. If it's on sale, it's like and you refund it at that specific time while it's on sale, get half the price of like what the current price is. It's like that would be great because there are some games that are like, so short that's like why wouldn't you just like refund it? And it's like well with like movies, especially today, it's like you often have the option to rent it digitally for like I don't know like $5. Um, and it's a very small price to pay to just watch it like once. Whereas if you buy the movie on like Blu-ray, it's like $30. and then you're kind of stuck with it. But like yeah, you do have the option to like watch it over and over and over. With games, it's like that. There are games that you can beat over a weekend. It's like, but you pay $70 for it. It's like I feel there should be an option to refund it within that time, or it's like people are so busy that like I think if it takes you less than 2 weeks to beat the game, like at least a story from beginning to end. If it takes you longer than 2 weeks, it sounds like yeah, you should be able to like get a refund for about like half at least.
Could track actual achievements in the game, joined with gameplay. All right, and then you could say, "No, I didn't like it. Give me half the money back." But if they did like it, then throw more money at it. Right? I would be very, and then maybe the option is only open for a week or a couple of days, because then you don't want people who play the game to death. They did like it, but then they were strapped with cash. It's like, oh, there's ways to make it work, though. I think there are ways to make it work.
Yeah.
And they won't do it.
They won't, no.
But I think there's some companies, game companies, that actually might choose to do that option. For instance, let's give an example. Let's pick a game and hypothetically say it has an option for games to give an additional tip based on an expression of satisfaction with the product, or get a half amount refund of what they purchased on it. What would you reckon most gamers would do who were purchased Helldivers?
They would definitely give an extra bit of money.
You reckon? Yeah, because it seems
because I'm one of them and I did.
Overwhelming satisfaction with the game.
Yep.
That not only are they happy with the price point, they might be willing to show support to developers and give something
Absolutely.
extra.
They're a small team. They work really hard. They're great community managers. Give them more money.
Okay. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
No, more like Suicide Squad, kill that game.
See, it's like, all right. I'm willing to entertain the tipping, thing, if you put your money where your mouth is. To go both ways.
That game is more like commit suicide apostrophe squad.
Now, this comes from a statement from Mike Ybarra, which is a former, as the quartering says, former Blizzard president and current president of Microsoft, suggests gamers be asked to tip developers at the end of single player games.
Why single?
I mean, live service games are usually constant, especially if you have to pay to play like MMOs and things. I've thought about this idea for a while as a player since I've been diving into single player games lately. When I beat a game, there are some that just leave me in awe of how amazing the experience was. At the end of the game, I've often thought, I wish I could give those folks another $10 or $20 because it was worth more than my initial $70, and they didn't try to nickel and dime me every second. First off, $70 is a lot of money. That's 70 US, by the way. For us Aussies, it's like 120. Games like HCD, I forget what that is, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, etc. I know $70 is already a lot, but it's an option at the end of the game I wish I had at times. Some games are that special.
The way you reward someone fulfilling or exceeding your expectations for goods and services is to continue to buy and pay for their goods and services, or to leave good reviews.
Yeah, it seems greedy for me if they only did it, just give us more money. It's like, all right, be honest. If you want an actual option to be able to reward people for satisfaction, give an option to...
That's actually another thing. Is that like... Even though you're not tipping them, it's like you can go like online and, give like good reviews, like talk positively about the game and what not, and sounds like that'll get people who are more casual and don't know anything. They see so many positive things about this one game, and sounds like that gives them more incentive to buy the game. So it's like, sure, you're not giving them another like $10 to $20, but this other person that like knows nothing about your company or the game or whatever, they just see a whole bunch of positive reviews, and then they just happen to have $67. They want to purchase the game just because of the reviews. So that that's another way that works. And it's like in the case it's like when I say that I'm thinking of like Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, in his example with like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, there was so much negativity. It's like I I tried the beta that was like what a month before the game came out. It's like I thought it was amusing, but I it got boring pretty quickly. So it's like I already got the impression that it wasn't gonna be good, and then it came out, and all these negative reviews came out. And it's like, yeah, I'm not buying the game. I'm not touching it. So reviews are also uh like tipping in a sense, but because they can drive more sales if you actually do a good job on the game. And if you do a bad job, no one's gonna buy it because you just have nothing but bad things to say. It's like, why would you buy a bad product?
To give a penalty for dissatisfaction.
Yeah. Look, this is just, to me, this is just morality from an incredibly rich person, right? This is someone being like, oh, you know what? This person did a great job. Here's a tenner. Here's a 20. You know, but is that money going to go to the developers?
There's a good question. It's a very good question. Like, it's probably not going to go to the actual hardworking game devs or anything like that. Like, the actual game companies or publishers and stuff like that probably just put that money into their own bonuses and things.
It's going to go straight into the investors' pockets, the CEO's bonus. Like,
Yeah.
They're not going to get any of that. Why would they give it to them?
It's just free, unless the game is like in the red and needs to, money to pay off its debts and things. But
I just don't. I can't stand this. It's what's it called, the gig economy. You know, this. Oh man.
Well, he says, I know most will dislike this idea. By the way, I realise we are tired of tipping in everything else. Us Aussies, we don't. But but I view this different from a pressure to tip type scenario many face and give feedback on.
What the, there's already options to pay someone back for the good work they do. That's to buy more stuff from them.
I think a really easy thing for people to do exactly what it's saying. I'm talking like one for one, almost perfect example, is to gift the game to a friend.
Yeah.
If you literally want, I was like, oh, that's too much because the game is too much. They want, I was like, DLC. Nearly most games have DLC options.
Fortunately, I think that's like only a Steam thing, or like if you have a local friend, you can go to the store and buy the disc for them. Unfortunately, on PlayStation, and I don't think you can do it on an Xbox. You don't have those options, and I don't recall if you can do it on Nintendo. I feel on Nintendo you can, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't turned on my Switch in a long time.
Options these days.
Or developers could set up a paper what's it called, Patreon. Like I set up a Patreon for my YouTube, which I do very little content, and the people still pay for my Patreon. And yes, years from now you will be found guilty of encouraging a terrorist organization. However, thank you very much.
It's not a terrorist. This is an omission. Although I do disavow everything Oz and Oz. We need to make a shirt. I disavow Oz.
Yes, I disavow Oz. We need the opposite too, because like the people who did I Love Elvis also sold I Hate Elvis. Okay. So I avow Oz.
No.
Big thumbs up.
No, because then they will be accused of supporting terrorists.
No, we're just trying to make money off of people who support terrorism.
All right, so
back on track.
Back on track. We also have a membership so you can support us here on Night's Watch.
Yes, support Night's Watch before me.
Yes, we need that money. I'm paying for him.
Yes.
So, by paying us, you help me pay him. So,
are we the baddies?
Are we asking for tips?
Well, to be fair, we're not multi-billion-dollar companies who are, just doing nothing but pump up the investors.
Maybe. I mean, we're not asking them to give anything to consume our content already, apart from their time. They're not paying essentially this, even though technically ads. But,
we have their life force now.
We have taken your life.
Got your soul. It's delicious.
There is some nuance here, though. Okay. ultimately I think it's pointless because, like I said, if you really want to tip the developer, DLC, gift the game to someone else.
Yeah.
Easy as that.
Yeah.
And I don't like tipping culture, and I think propagating it even more is I think it's bad because it's ultimately implying that you should be giving more than the free exchange of money for goods and services that you've entered into.
Yeah, and ultimately there are 1,000,001 different ways and 1,000,001 different services that can be given and exchanged to receive money, and for whatever reason, whether you get sentimental value from liking something someone says or does or feeds you, like anything, right? This is just another thing.
I know. I mean, anything at all.
Yeah,
yeah.
Even prostitution that exists.
And sexual favors.
Don't point at me when you say that. Although subscribe to Team Roz. We've got feet pics and shower milk.
Do not condone that exchange, though it's very prominent in Hollywood, I hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That type of exchange for
Can we get Jennifer Lawrence on the show to question her about this?
What are you willing to exchange for that, Oz?
I'm willing to exchange a sexual favour with her.
Jesus Christ.
I like Jennifer Lawrence. You're crazy if you don't. Anyway.
Is she the one who, was the first at everything?
First at everything?
Yeah, she was the first action star.
She was the first in my homework folder.
What do you guys think? There is some discussion to be had on the topic, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. And as always, stay on watch.
No, I don't think there's much discussion to have on it. I mean, it sounds like, of course, it's like I guess some people, it's like I don't think it'll go over well in gaming, but especially when like games cost so much as it is, and like we're already kind of complaining about it. The initial argument I made about it, it's like I believe I made it on a. I don't remember if I think it was a Facebook post that I ended up saying something that they'll like, yeah, I can understand it. It's like if the game comes out like perfect and it's a great game, gives you a great experience, it's like sure, I understand that tipping. It's like these guys made more sense in the DLC and like the good reviews and such. But and then I also said that like but these days games are always coming out so bad and have bugs and slams. Like in order to get a tip in games, the game has to come out perfect, flawless, all this and that. It's like you almost never get a single game that comes out today that is like bug free, and it's just like the most perfect experience. It's like I thought like PlayStation games came out like pretty much perfect, but like even they are getting like day one patches and whatnot. I was so surprised when I believe even like I think it was Spider-Man or Spider-Man 2 or Ghost of Tsushima, those still required patches in order to like fix a couple of things. And it's like unless your game comes out perfect, it's like these guys would never receive a tip if it was like that, or if that was an option. And another thing I think I wanted to add is like I've been thinking about this the whole video, is that like tipping is like an American thing, and he said he's Australian and they don't really have that in their culture. And it's like when I think of like other tipping cultures, I think of Japan where we're like they don't have tipping either. They add the tip in the overall price, and if you actually give them a tip, then they take offense to it, and they see it as in like you're looking down upon them like they're a poor person. And so I was like, I think of tipping like that. And it's like I've also done services of like where we're like people wanted help, and it's like I did help them, and they offered me a tip, and I've actually turned them down because it's like no, it's like I need to lift something for them because they had like a bad back or whatever, and it's like I don't need a tip for that. It's like this is just you know something nice to do. But and then unfortunately most people are just greedy as hell, and it's like I think because they're like struggling or like trying to get somewhere in life, that they're so focused on themselves that they expect tips, and it's like that's part of the problem is like people's expectations for tips.